All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol RKT, Rocket Companies Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So, Rocket Companies has been in a sideways movement for some time. It spiked back up after a recovery, sideways movement, spiked back up, sideways movement. Now, could this continue to rise? That's what we're going to look at, and it was broken through the resistance level fairly twice. And could this continue this run? That's the question here for every investor and viewer as of right now. And obviously way back here up around $34 and some change is the highest peak and most important resistance level for the bulls. It fell all the way down and it reached down to about $19.40 to 30 cents. That was a really important point and trajectory that changed everything. Started to pick back up from there, leveled off close to $20, and then spiked up and started to rise. I believe that Rocket Companies is on its way back up, and as long as it stays above the 50-day moving average, this could continue to hit newer highs, and the bulls can continue to have a run in an upward direction. The only thing that I've noticed is that volume's a little quiet. It needs more volume. It needs more investors interested and excited about the company. As of right now, there's only a couple million. It should be up around 30 to 50 million. It could start moving things around, and maybe even more volume than that can actually have an impact on bringing this one up. So let's look at some important things here in the chart. So as of right now, 2408 is the highest point reached in the last couple of days. And that point needs to be broken through by the bulls so this can test newer highs. So I want to mention that, and I want every investor to be aware of that. Now, another thing too, the lowest point reached was yesterday at 22.27. That's a support level that I'd bear in mind in the near future. So those two numbers right there are very important to keep in mind if they get crossed, and it could give us a sense of direction who is dominating the chart, whether it's the bulls or the bears, and where this could be heading. Now, resistance was broken through and this stock hung out, jumping up and down around it, but the bulls ended up leveling off at 23.60 and keeping it above the resistance level and the 50-day moving average, keeping it in bullish territory. So let's move this to its new locations. We're going to look at the highest point and lowest point within the last couple of hours, and we're going to zoom in and see what's important about these support levels. Now, this support level was touched 2 times and nearly a third time. This resistance level was touched 2 times. So there's some important things here with this chart and what's going on here. These rejections are more than once, and the supports have been used more than once. So the support level is a good sign for the bulls that if they've used it twice and almost a third time, they've been able to bounce back from that and stay above the 50-day moving average. But then again, the bulls have struggled twice in the day to break through this resistance level, and their highest point in the day was 23.91. That's what the bulls want to break through if they break through this resistance level. If this breaks through support, then obviously the bears are going to try to break through the next nearest support level, and that is 22.80. I'd write that down to keep that number in mind as well. Now, the 50-day moving average is important, and it is 23.02. If 23.02 gets crossed in a downward direction, now you're in bearish territory, and the bears are starting to gain control. If we stay above it, the bulls will be in control, and they can start to reach newer highs as long as they pull away from it. They need to. That's how they'll maintain the bullish territory and maintaining control on the chart. Now, the first level of resistance that the bulls want to break through is actually 23.68. They need to turn 23.68 into a support level so they can break away further away from the 50-day moving average, right, in an upward direction. Now, if the bulls accomplish this, they broke through the first resistance, they turn it into a support, they test it and they prove it, and they can break away and reach newer highs and newer resistance levels, obviously working their way towards the highest point, which is 23.91. Once that's accomplished, the bulls are moving in the right direction, building momentum and moving further away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction. Now, on the other hand, we have what the bears want. If the bears accomplish this, they've accomplished two things. They broke through support and the 50-day moving average. By breaking through the 50-day moving average, they've reached bearish territory, and breaking the first support that was actually used twice will signify that the bears have finally torn through where the bulls were continuing to recover. That is something that is very important to keep in mind. Every time the support has been used, the bulls have recovered from there. And if the bears can break through that, they've actually broken through one of the points where the bulls have been recovering to get back up. And that is 22.98. If 22.98 gets broken through, 50-day moving average has been broken through, and the first level of support has been broken through. Now, I want to emphasize to all investors, pay close attention to how this stock is reacting if it breaks through 22.98, and how quickly is it hitting newer lows, newer support levels, or is it hanging out in a sideways direction, and are the bulls trying to reappear to bring this one back up? Because that's a really close one. Even down here around 22.80, that's still a close one for the bulls to actually break this one back up over the 50-day moving average and get back into bullish territory. So the tug of war would be really interesting to pay close attention to, but I want to emphasize to all investors that at 22.98 getting crossed, I'd pay very close attention to how the stock is behaving, how it's reacting, who's dominating the chart. Put your 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute charts, and also keep in mind the inflow and the outflow of the stocks and who's coming in and out of the stock and what is going on. What is the volume looking like in either direction, and who is gaining control? Now, again, I want to also emphasize something here about this resistance level. This resistance level got rejected earlier in the day before the bears appeared, and it got rejected after in the recovery. So the bulls are having a little bit of a struggle to break through this. So if they accomplish this, they could be on their way to newer highs. So they need to break through 23.68. They need to continue the momentum and not allow the 50-day moving average to catch up to the price. And then also, I want to emphasize again, pay close attention to how this stock is reacting if it breaks through support. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button so you can let me know you watch this video. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video. In that video, I will be discussing about the S&P 500 index and how it rises several points on scheduled dates. These scheduled dates are dates from the Federal Reserve pumping the market and making the S&P 500 index rise several points. Well, what does that mean for us as investors? That means that by the S&P 500 index rising up several points, there's individual ticker symbols rising up with it. Super important to keep that in mind, that the index is 500 different ticker symbols, and if it rises, there's individual ticker symbols in it rising with it. They rise anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it doesn't sound like a lot per share, but it does add up. And as I always say, if you put $1 into the market and you got back $2, you've done a great job. It's always about putting in something and getting more than what you put in for your efforts of reading the charts and seeing, and also making a strategic investment. Well, this strategy, it does not guarantee profits, but it does maximize profits and minimize your losses. You got to go ahead and do your due diligence and research yourself as an investor. I'm just here to enlighten everyone on the great news that there's an opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. I'm not here to tell you to buy, sell, or hold. I'm just here to share the great news that there is an opportunity to profit whether the market's going up or going down and so forth, thanks to these Federal Reserve pumps. And on these dates, the S&P 500, the charts speak for themselves, is rising up, and these ticker symbols are with it too, rising up with it too. So check it out. The video should be popping up soon. If it hasn't already, click it, and I hope you find that video helpful and informative. It's a weekly series that I do, and I will be updating it with the newest and latest information as soon as they release it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.